Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
From the beautiful city of Abuja, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Money Radio. And today being Wednesday, it's Tech Wednesday. So we are discussing an issue that says investing in digital innovation to boost local content. How far has Nigeria gone? The topic is appropriate considering the fact that sequel to the raging war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, and by extension the West, because there is a high probability that in the near future that war may transcend cyber war. And then once that is done, of course, there will be um, pushing and shoving in the cyberspace. And that may actually include what we do in this part of the world, because when it comes to the cyberspace, there is no border, or we don't have borders. Yes. So, in the studio to discuss with me that topic is Mr. Hania Jafaru. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time we met.
Yes, it has been short.
Yeah. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, where is Nigeria when it comes to digital innovation? And what can Nigeria do considering the probability of any digital world war?
Well, we are. The good thing is that we have the manpower, we have the human capital in the area of ICT, and that means we are not completely dependent on the Western world for tools. In the case of a digital world, using your word, but generally we are growing. We have the manpower, we have the environment, ICT, telecoms. They are all sector of the digital space, or what forms the digital space, because the digital space is formed by four major. When we say in cyberspace, most persons consider cyberspace to be a physical environment, yes. But instead, the cyberspace is actually a logical environment. But what makes the cyberspace possible is as a result of the physical equipment or physical digital technologies that are available. One of those physical digital technologies are the network switches or network communication devices, like our routers, our switches, the cables that we use. Another infrastructure that forms the digital space is the endpoint device, and those are the computers, mobile phones, embedded systems like cars that are the connected cars and all that. Now another telecoms infrastructure. They also form basis of the mobile of the cyberspace. Then the last one is the satellite communication system. Now the combination of all these infrastructure forms the cyberspace. If there is an issue with one of this infrastructure, there is every likelihood that we would be affected. Because we may be disconnected from the cyberspace. So now, how are we doing in the area of all these infrastructures? We are doing well. Our telecommunication industry is booming. Our satellite industry, everyone is running away from satellite, but where our digital broadcasting is going towards that direction. That's why NBC, it was last year NBC mandated that all broadcasting should be done digitally. That means using by means of satellite communication.
When you talk about satellite communications, are you talking about Sat?
Nadcomsat.
Yes.
Yes, it's all part of it. Nadcomsat is the company that runs Nigeria communication satellite. It has two different satellites. It has the communication satellite, it has the monitoring satellite, which is the environmental satellite. The environmental satellite is what it uses to carry out reconnaissance like flood issues, to monitor what is happening in certain environments, the weather monitoring and all that. But the communication satellite is what we use to connect to the internet. That's also what we use to carry out broadcasting, television broadcasting. So the Naticomsat is the Nigerian company whose administrative duty is to build, manage, and maintain Nigerian communication satellites. We just have two, but other countries have more than two because there are other specialized satellites. There are military satellites that we don't have. So our military now gets their image usually from Naticomsat via the environmental satellite. So, but like during this war, now the U.S. government gave the Ukraine president a satellite phone. Now that satellite phone is dedicated for U.S. satellite. So the U.S. President can communicate with the Ukraine president via satellite communication, and then we can call it like as though it's a regular call. Because as we've seen now, telecoms infrastructures are already targets of the Russian government. The Russian military are already targeting. In fact, they've launched attack on some kind of infrastructure, telecom infrastructures.
Yeah.
So
yesterday in the city of Kharkiv.
Yeah. So it's if beyond, there is a part of the human capacity in the area of digital innovation, but there is also the part of infrastructural development, which the satellite comes to play, the telecoms come to play, because all these things form basis of the cyberspace. So how secure is our telecoms in the area of let's say they're going into cyber attack. Now going into cyber attack we are seeing a lot of sanctions that are coming to Russia, but beyond the sanctions, there's no sanctions from the cyberspace. All the sanctions we're seeing are financial sanctions, airspace sanctions, land sanctions, and all that. We've not seen the sanctions from the cyberspace, and that's because these sanctions is not as though that they're just dishing it one after the other. Now we should expect sanctions that relate with the cyberspace. And what that means is when the Western world decide to release sanctions on block Russian from connecting, they may not block them from connecting to the internet, but they may restrict their IP. So just the way they restrict Russian banks from using the SWIFT network, they will restrict Russian IP from connecting to the internet, to the global internet. So Russian IP can only work within Russia. It can't connect to websites outside Russia. So that's it's going to be a huge isolation because they're isolating them now from the cyberspace. All the isolation that has been happening is within the confines of the financial industry, the
some energy,
airspace, and all that. But now isolation will come from, and that's going to be a huge impact on all online businesses in Russia. It's going to have huge impact on all virtual businesses or virtual businesses in Russia. So it's going to be huge. Now relating it with Nigeria, we have not done so much let's work with that. Let's not pray for that, but but we can prepare for it. We've not done so much in the area of cyber warfare. We don't have the intelligence, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the human capital, we are not major stakeholders in the industry of in the cyber security industry. Our military, on the other hand, are not equipped with the right capability and technical skill to engage in cyber warfare. So we will definitely just remain mute as we are as a country, as the fiscal war is going on.
So, given the situation as you have painted it, what is Nigeria's position in case of a world war? A cyber
war.
Yes.
Well, it's
and before you continue, we're talking about our financial system having the possibility of being affected in case there is a world war, a cyber world war, and our financial system is targeted. Am I right?
Yes, there is that possibility.
So where do we stand?
We stand with every country that has a digital system.
Yes, but
because
do we stand a chance of resisting, like the Ukrainians are physically resisting?
there are all these things. They are strategy that you put in place to prevent. They are what called mitigation strategy. You put them in place to mitigate things like this. Let's say, for example, our financial system is hit by
Yeah.
a cyber attack. It now our ability to recover smoothly or swiftly is dependent on the strategy that we put in place as a country to mitigate it. Yet if we don't have backup, if we don't have cold site or we don't have a hot site that helps in mitigating some kind of attacks, cyber-based attack, it means the recovery time is going to take longer than compared to where we have a hot site. If we have a hot site, it can take less than 25 hours and we're back up and running. But if we don't have a hot site, it means that it will take days, months to recover from this kind of attack. So it all depends on the strategy that we're putting in place as a country to prevent or mitigate this kind of attack. But it's not only in the financial industry that we should be concerned about. We should be concerned about our industrial control systems, our power. Because even before now, Russia, there have been series of attacks in the cyberspace where the Russian government or APT group associated with the Russian government have have attacked Russia, Ukraine power system,
Yes.
where they had to shut down the power system of Ukraine several times.
Yes.
Yes, so it's not only the financial industry we should be concerned about. We should be concerned about our power system because all countries now they use a SCADA system, that's a special control and data acquisition system to control how powers are being distributed. So if that system is attacked, it means that we won't be able to control the power. They can try to increase the voltage. They can try to reduce the voltage of power given to a certain location or geographical location. Yes, so it's we should not just be concerned. It should not be money areas that we should be concerned more about. But there are other industries like they can attack your telecommunication industry in such a way that you can't make calls, you can't receive calls, you can't send message, you can't receive message. Meanwhile, it's not as though that these infrastructures are physically attacked. Like it's not as though that it's like a missile that is coming on this infrastructure. No, this infrastructure will be up and running, but they are under a cyber attack because they are infrastructure that aid that aid in the connectivity to the cyberspace. So if those infrastructures are attacked, it means that we can't make call, we can't receive call, we can't send SMS, we can't receive SMS, and we also can't connect to the internet because the 42% internet connectivity rate in Nigeria is as a result of the telecommunication industry boost in the telecommunication industry. So if we are unable to connect via telecommunication industry, it's going to be a huge loss to us as a country.
So we're running out of time, but let's assume we have this kind of scenario. Um, what do you think should be put in place right now? Because we are talking about digital infrastructure. What do you think the government can put in place now to forestall any such?
There are so many things that there are so many. If we begin to list some of the things that need to be put in place, the time will not be enough for us to explain them because there are so many things that need to be put in place.
Okay.
The first thing is that the government needs to embed cyber intelligence, and embedding cyber intelligence goes beyond just uh, um, getting intelligence, but how you get this intelligence. There should be units in several law enforcement agencies that embed the culture of cyber intelligence. You employ somebody to be a staff, not physically but in the cyberspace. That their own numbers of years in service, they don't go, even though they're going to work, they are physically going to work, but where they work within the cyberspace. Everything they do is within the cyberspace. Our military, the Nigerian Army has the Cyber Warfare Command, but it is just the army. Meanwhile, in US, they have the US Cyber Command that cuts across all military arm of the US, both the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army. Okay. UK last year launched National Cyber Force. They are the offensive cyber force of the United Kingdom. So they engage in cyber attacks for the United Kingdom in an offensive. But what we have is just cyber warfare command, which is an arm of the Nigerian army, not the Nigerian military as a whole or the Nigerian defense as a whole.
Yeah.
So we need to also have the cyber security incident response team, both at at every law enforcement agencies. Just these are some of the things we need to put in place just to ensure that we are able to mitigate this attack, or we know when this attack is coming, so that we will know the right things to do. But we don't even have the skilled personnel, even in these law enforcement agencies, to be able to put these things in place.
So now you're talking about skilled personnel in these law enforcement agencies. That is a lacuna,
It's a huge
a
lacuna.
huge gap. When we're talking about the people who are supposed to actually be ahead
Mhm.
of cyber intelligence are actually behind. That
Yeah,
means
because
they
they
can
don't have the
be
capacity.
they can be overcome or they can be defeated at any time. That means the country is actually
Yeah, as I told you earlier on, there are so many things that needs to be done. You need to train life. In fact, the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy clearly mentioned the lapses in the area of training skilled personnel. In fact, it says that all law enforcement agencies and judges should be trained, because most Nigerian judges too, they don't understand the concept of the cyberspace.
you
So
see
when
those huge books that they are back whenever you're entering them.
yeah, but the books are not cyber, may not be cyber
They are law
related.
books.
Yeah, they are law books, but there are cyber laws
Yes,
and there are cyber terminologies
of
that
course.
lawyers can use to, they can use, smart lawyers can use against judges that they know don't understand the concept of the cyberspace.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the essence why judges needs to be trained, law enforcement agencies needs to be trained, just in the area of cyber crime, cyber intelligence, cyber attacks, cyber security, generally. Because so once the trainings occur, then we can now say that we have the skilled personnel to carry out this, to help us out in defending the cyberspace, because we need defenders of the cyberspace.
Let's take a short break. We don't have too much time left actually, but let's take a short break. Let's have a breather. By the time we come back, there's one more question I would like to pose to you before we call it a day.
Okay.
Stay tuned, listeners.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. You're still on to Money Radio, and this is the tech segment of the program on Leadership Podcast. Still with me in the studio is Haniel Jafaru, and we have been talking about cybersecurity, investing in digital innovation to boost local content. How far has Nigeria gone? I've been your host, Case Hammond, and we continue with the topic we are discussing. Mr. Jafaru, um, we have been talking about at least from the global perspective. Now let's come to some specifics, local areas that need to be covered. What about cybersecurity startups? Do you think that is an area that government that deserves government's attention?
Yes, at this point in time, while other startups can be, it's a thing of profits for most persons. The cybersecurity startup should be a thing of concern for Nigerian government, because that is your you are as sophisticated as the level of startups that you have in the area of cybersecurity. So if you have startups that are very good in the area of cybersecurity startups, there is every tendency that you will have a more secured cyberspace because they will first sell it to the Nigerian people and the Nigerian community, first sell it to the world. So startups that offer cybersecurity services, it means that we have professional cybersecurity professionals in the private sector that can help the government with a public-private partnership in securing the cyberspace. So the government should look at the way of investing in cybersecurity startups because once that is done, to a large extent, it makes the Nigerian cyber domain secure, and it also gives the government the ability for them to carry out high level of cyber intelligence based on the level of startups that will be able to grow. So growing cybersecurity startups is going to be huge. It's going to bring about competition in the cyberspace, and the overall objective of it is that it's going to make the Nigerians connected to cyberspace secured.
You think we have the talents?
Yes, we do have the talent, but we don't have the backing of the government. So we need the backing of the government.
So the government is always talking about positive funds.
But
In what area or how can the government come in?
beyond the funds, there should be enabling environments. Like, okay, now there was a case recently about somebody attacking another person, and the person now goes to review. I attack you, for example. I now go to meet you and tell you that, look, I've attacked you, and these are your credentials. Now, you can decide to sue me
Yeah.
because I attacked you without your consent.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, I did not use that information that I've extracted from the attack maliciously. Instead, I came to show you your lapses. So instead of you to look at a way of, okay, let me engage this guy so that I can get more lapses, like he can reveal more lapses of mine to me.
And I can prepare better.
Yeah, and you can prepare better. You are not swimming. And the government will not look at it from that perspective. And then we go ahead with the prosecution. So there is a need for having enabling environment. It's not as though that we are encouraging people to go and start attacking people without permission.
Yeah.
But there should be a place of enabling environment for the startups to grow. There should be a place of enabling environment. If the environment is not enabling, they won't be able to showcase their skill. And everybody you see with a laptop now is into Yahoo Yahoo. That does not mean that everybody is truly into Yahoo Yahoo because I move around with my laptop.
Yeah.
So does that mean that I'm into Yahoo Yahoo?
No, obviously not.
So there needs to be that enabling environment. People don't no longer move on the street with their system. In fact, if you have a good phone, very good phone as a young guy, you become
a suspect.
A suspect. Yes. Yeah. But meanwhile, we have Nigerians. I spoke sometime in this program. We have Nigerians who no longer earn in naira, not because they don't want to earn in naira, but because the globalization has so much captivated the world, including Nigerians, that you can be in Nigeria and you're working in the US and you're being paid in dollars.
Yes.
So you don't expect me to be paid $1,000 or $2,000, which is not even the minimum wage in the US.
Yes.
And I'm living in Nigeria and being paid $2,000. That's over 1 million naira.
Of course.
I will live large because I'm being paid. So does that not make me Yahoo?
You are not.
You get. So we need that enabling environment. Let us channel these guys, channel the skill and the intelligence in these guys to make them better. There are ways, there are strategies we can put in place to ensure that we nurture them to be for good. Because if we don't nurture them to be for good, they will eventually be our adversary.
Yes. Yes. To put it broadly, they will become liability.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, investing in them actually will make them asset.
True assets
Yeah.
for the country.
Yeah. It's been a nice time having you in the studio again. Well, that's the way we want to draw the curtain on today's morning radio. We've been having Daniel Jafaru, our. Do I call you an in-house analyst, or even from us? Yeah, our regular analyst, Haniel Jafari, when it comes to tech issues. Mm. You're always welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and we are appreciative of you. Thanks to you, our producers also. Thanks mostly to you who follow us loyally on this program. I've been your host, Case Hammond. Until we see another day for another edition of Money Radio, it is our pleasure to say have a great day and wish you a 20-liter a 20-liter petrol gift. Yes, for those of you who are viewing, I wish you a 20-liter petrol gift. So that's a good gift. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
a new way of showing love.
Right.
So until then, have a nice day, all of you who are following us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.